Hello and welcome to another edition of Cranky Gun Reviews. To be perfectly honest, this is a review I didn't know if I would ever do. You see a Taurus box on the table here, and while I'm not opposed to Taurus firearms in any fashion, I just didn't really see myself purchasing one. So why did I? Well, let's get into it. Taurus firearms are great. I've rarely had an opportunity to buy one or one that I wanted to buy. This was just one that popped up, and let's talk about why I wanted it. I purchased a G3C, and I really did not have any intention of buying this, but let me tell you why I did. So a week or so ago, when I was looking at my Ruger Mark III pistol, I was doing the paperwork at the counter with the salesperson, and right below where we were doing the work in the glass case was the Taurus G3C. Now, this particular dealer, they buy in massive bulk. They're, I believe, the #1 Smith & Wesson dealer in the United States. So when they buy guns from manufacturers, they will buy like a pallet of them or 2 pallets at a time, like 1,000 guns at a time from one specific manufacturer. And then they sell them at the lowest prices I've seen anywhere. So again, I've said before, when I buy stuff, I typically buy it from local shops because it tends to be a little bit cheaper. This is part of the reason why, because this specific dealer will actually buy a pallet of firearms to get a really good deal on them, and they usually sell out within a few weeks to a month sometimes. I don't know how you can get that many guns sold that quickly in the same locale, but I'm betting that people are driving in maybe from other states to buy them anyway. So this Taurus G3C was sitting in the case right below where I was doing the paperwork, and it was on sale. It still is the model that comes with 3 magazines. So this is another reason why it's a great bargain for anybody getting into firearms. You get 3 magazines. I'm going to safety check it. It is clear. There's no round in the chamber. So for somebody just getting into firearms, or for somebody that wants a double stack 9mm that's very affordable and, from what I've seen online, very reliable, this is a fantastic choice. I paid $250 for this thing, brand new, out the door, with 3 magazines. It was one of those, again, I never intended to buy one of these, but the price was so low that I could not pass it up. When you buy from a large firearms dealer that has huge volume, you can often get really good deals. They were trying to blow these things out. They've had so much inventory coming in lately. They literally were like, our back room is stocked up with several models. We're trying to clear some out. $250 for everything you see here. The gun, the 3 magazines. It's brand new. Came in the box. You know, still had the sticker on the trigger when I bought it. It is a brand new gun. It's not something that was used, that was traded in. It was too good of a deal to pass up. Now, since I've gotten it, I have not shot it yet. Other guns that are kind of in the same class, if you look at like a Ruger SR9C, that's very similar to this. It has a double stack 10-round magazine as well. This comes with 3 10-round magazines because in my state, 10 rounds is the most you can have. They do make 12-round magazines for these as well. So you could have up to 36 rounds with you when you're carrying if you decide to carry both magazines, or in my case, you would have 30. So the fact that it comes with 3 magazines is phenomenal out the gate. It saves you money right out of buying the gun. A lot of times when you buy them, they come with 1, maybe 2 magazines, but this one comes with 3. So phenomenal value right out of the box. And these magazines, they're around $20 to $25 a piece. They're not expensive. So if you want to buy more, they're not hard to find, and they're very inexpensive. The nice thing, I've said it in many of my videos, when I buy a semi-automatic pistol, I oftentimes will buy 5 magazines for it, just because when I go to the range, I don't want to have to reload every 2 minutes. I want to have several magazines. And for my, you know, quote-unquote end-of-the-world scenario, I like having 5 magazines for all of my guns. Just makes it easier. Have all that stuff already loaded up and stored, ready to go. So right out of the gate, great value coming with 3 magazines. This has a lot of really nice, you know, state-compliant safety features built into it. It does not have a magazine disconnect, but it does have your witness hole, so you don't have to press check your slide to see if there's a round in it. That's something that's nice. It has the kind of Glock-style trigger where it has the paddle in the middle. That acts as a safety for your trigger. It's a really pretty well-made pistol. I mean, it feels a little bit cheesy when you're pulling the trigger, but it's not bad for what it is. You know, it seems to be pretty well made. Stainless steel barrel. I think it just has a steel slide and a polymer lower, just like most of your striker-fired pistols. The stippling on this thing is really, really aggressive. I mean, it really bites into your hand when you squeeze down on it. So I don't anticipate a lot of unmanageable recoil. Plus, again, it's only 9mm, not bad. Now, it's a striker-fired pistol, but it has second strike capabilities. So that means that it acts kind of like a double action revolver would, where you pull the trigger, and every time you pull the trigger, it's going to pull that striker back and let it go. So it has second strike capabilities. Now, why is that really a big deal? It's not necessarily a big deal, but it is a nice feature to have. Similar to my Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 380, where if you have a round that might have a hard primer, if you pull the trigger, it doesn't go off the first time, you can just keep pulling that trigger and it'll keep dropping the striker on the back of that round. And if the primer is good and it's just a hard primer, eventually it should go off. So that's a nice feature to have. Now, if we look at a different type of striker-fired pistol, this is a Smith & Wesson Shield. This one works differently as far as the striker goes. So just making sure it is a clear firearm. There's no magazine in it. Striker is cocked. When I pull the trigger on this, you'll hear the striker drop. Now, if I keep pulling the trigger, nothing is going to happen. So this will not have second strike capabilities. If you wanted to try shooting that round again, you'd have to rack the slide to reset the firing pin and the striker in there, and then you could pull the trigger again. So this does not have second strike capabilities. And if you look at something like a Beretta Model 85 Cheetah, and I'm, again, nothing in the chamber, no magazine. The Beretta 85 Cheetah is a hammer-fired pistol. So this particular one, when you pull the trigger, every time you pull the trigger, you can see the hammer going back and then the hammer drops. So this is a double to single action pistol with a hammer. When you pull the trigger, it's double action. It cocks the hammer and drops the hammer in one trigger pull. Or after the first time you shoot, it cocks the hammer, puts it in single action mode, which gives you a short, crisp trigger pull. So this is a double to single action pistol where you have that action drawing the hammer back and dropping it all in one trigger pull. After the first time you fire, the hammer is going to be cocked, and then you pull the trigger and it just drops the hammer. That's double to single action. So the function of a double to single action pistol is very similar to what you have with the Taurus, except every time you pull the trigger, you're going to get exactly the same trigger pull weight when you're firing this thing, no matter what. So it doesn't matter if the slide gets cocked, trigger's the same. If you just pull the trigger, I guess maybe it's a little bit heavier. Maybe it's a little bit heavier, like a pound or two heavier when you're pulling the trigger without cocking it first. But it's the same action. It pulls the striker back and fires it with one trigger pull, so it acts more like a double action pistol. Second strike capabilities, great feature. I really like that. Some of the other things that are nice about this, the familiarity with the controls, the takedown function of it, just like a Glock. So you pull back on the slide a little bit, pull down on these takedown tabs here on both sides, pull the trigger, and then the slide comes right off the gun. So very easy to take down. Then you got your recoil spring, you pop it out, barrel comes right out. Again, just like a Glock or most of your striker-fired pistols, very simple to take down, very simple to put back together. This one, it's a little bit weird for me when I slide the slide back on. The back here tends to wiggle a little bit, so there's a little bit of side-to-side play in it, but once you get it lined up on the rails, slides right back on, good to go. So pretty familiar controls, magazine release. This is your safety on the back. Up is safe, down is fire. Pretty simple. This is your slide stop. So pull this down to release the slide or push it up to hold the slide back. Takedown lever. I mean, it's similar in function to just about every striker-fired pistol that's out there. But, it has that second strike capability, which is nice. Slide serrations on the front and rear of the slide. I've already mentioned the grip texturing is very good. It fits pretty well in my hand. I think if this had the 12-round magazine, it would be a little bit more comfortable for me because it's kind of squishing my fingers together when I'm putting a good grip on it. But it's really not that bad. And I mean, if you were that worried about it, you can put your pinky under the magazine. But it'll give you a really good purchase on the gun because, you know, it's kind of squishing your fingers together. You can just pull in, it gives you a good grip on it. The stippling, I've said it a couple times, is fantastic. It has these memory pads up here, so when you're drawing it, it gives you a place to put your finger. Kind of has that cutout for your finger. Overall, it's pretty nice. It's got a spot to put your thumb on here, right here. It's not an ambidextrous pistol in the fact that it doesn't have the controls on the other side of it, but it does have the memory controls on both sides. So if you were left-handed, you can put your trigger finger up here. You can put your thumb on the bump on either side of the frame. So again, I never really thought I was going to purchase this pistol, but the price it was, I mean, $250 was probably about the same as what I paid for my Smith & Wesson SD9 VE 5 years ago. And that only came with one magazine when I bought it, and that was a used gun. This brand new in the box, 3 magazines, all the features that this gun has. It is a great beginner's firearm. I know guys like Mix Up 98 talk about it all the time. They say it's a great firearm. Just about everybody that's reviewed this has said for the money, it's a fantastic gun. And this particular one, you can change the sights on it as well. That's another feature that I like about Taurus. They have tons of aftermarket support for this. You can go right on their website and they have like 8 different kinds of aftermarket sights. You can buy magazines, you can buy lasers, you can buy lights for this thing. There's all kinds of aftermarket support for this pistol. It's been out for a couple of years, and it's very simple to change the parts on it. This front sight, when you take the slide off, there's one screw underneath it that you take out, and the front sight pops off. The rear sight, it's just a dovetail, so you can knock it out with a punch and knock a new one in. I did hear that some of them have polymer sights. This does not have polymer sights on it. These are actually aluminum sights. I believe they're aluminum. I know they're metal. So I can replace the sights on this with no issue. I may try it. I may just leave them as they are. They're really not that bad. It has a white dot in the front and a nice, notch in the back. Seems to be plenty ample for what it is. But that's just a short review I have on the Taurus G3C. Again, I just couldn't pass the deal up. It was too inexpensive for what you get for this gun. I'd been seeing them go for $350 over the last year and a half, which I thought was a fairly decent deal. I mean, the Ruger EC9S that I bought, this was $359, and this only came with one magazine, I think, when I bought it. And, I mean, the features that the G3C has are actually as good or better than what this comes with. This is only a single stack 9mm, so you can have, I think, either 7 or 9 rounds, depending on what magazine you get with it. This one does not have interchangeable sights. Now, I tend to shoot this one pretty well. Even though it has really small sights on it, I shoot this one pretty well. I painted the front sight orange with some nail polish. But, I mean, again, for the price that you're getting this G3C for, if you can find it for $250, $300, it is a fantastic deal. Look forward to another video coming up soon where I take this out and shoot it. I said it in the last couple of videos. Right now, my range is shut down for December, except for Sundays, and usually Sundays are pretty busy. So hopefully starting again in January, I'll be able to get out a little bit more frequently. At least that's the hope. I have a bunch of new stuff to take out to the range. This is the last of my review videos for now. There's not really too many more guns that I'm looking for to put in my collection. A couple that I am looking for: a 3-inch Smith & Wesson J-frame in 38 Special. I had one years ago. That was probably the first video that I ever did on this channel way back when I was living in my old house. I had crappy lighting. I had crappier phones to take videos with. I had it for a couple of years. I shot it. I loved it, and I sold it, and I haven't been able to find another one for a good price since. So I want to get another 3-inch J-frame Smith & Wesson. And then I want to get a snub-nosed J-frame in 22 long rifle in a 6-shot, a blued version. Those aren't very easy to find. And then I'm still looking for a Ruger LCR in 22 long rifle as well. They pop up once in a while, but lately they've been around $600 for a used one, and I just don't think they're worth that much money. So a couple things I'm still looking for, and I'm always keeping my eye out for a good deal. I just haven't found anything else that I wanted besides the Mark pistols that I bought, this guy, and then that Beretta over the last month or so. And again, I know I kind of crammed all these videos into a few days, but I finally got around to taking video and editing it. So thanks for watching Cranky Gun Reviews again. Have a great day. God bless America. Make sure you support your two-way rights. Have a great day. I just want to take the opportunity to thank everybody who's been tuning into my channel. It really means a lot to me. Over the last year and a half, my viewership has really grown, and I appreciate everything you guys do. I would do these videos regardless of whether or not people watch my channel, but it does make it more enjoyable when I have people commenting, especially a lot of the same people.